A sparse, gray landscape and ash slowly flowing down from the sky. Smoke everywhere. Sounds of multiple explosions. Perhaps an asteroid strike, or a nuclear war. This may be how the hypothetical end of the human race is often put on display in post-apocalyptic films, but what if human extinction was less a cinematic scene, and instead, a looming reality? Universe 25 Inches was a study carried out from 1954 to 1972 by John B. Calhoun, an American ethologist and behavioral researcher who claimed bleak effects of overpopulation on rodents were a grim model for the future of the human race. Working with NIMH, National Institute of Mental Health, Calhoun created the perfect mouse universe to conduct his study. What looked like a rat utopia and mouse paradise, unlimited food and water, multiple levels and private nesting areas, quickly spiraled into turbulent congestion that lead to a population subside followed by disturbing and pathological behaviors of the members. Calhoun spent years perfecting his methods and repeated his experiment 25 times, hence, Universe 25 Inches, in different scales and noted ominously identical results every time. The design of these habitats was simple. The layout was a rectangle measuring 10 feet by 14 feet divided into 4 equal sections by electric fences. Each section was equipped identically with the food hopper, water and nesting areas. Displayed in the image below, in his final experiment, the space he designed could potentially hold 3,840 mice, but population peaked at 2,200 mice and began to decline from there while exhibiting a variety of abnormal, often destructive behaviors. The result showed what Calhoun described as the behavioral sink, which means an increase in pathological activities due to the stress involved in high population. The dominant males would occasionally lash out at other members, including infants, often biting and wounding their tails. For females, this behavioral sink would manifest in reduced capacity in nest building and young rearing. The infant mortality rate topped 90% since many females adopted more aggressive forms of behavior or would refrain from motherly duties altogether. Regardless of the scale of the experiments, the same set of events would transpire each time. The mice would mate and breed in large quantities. Eventually, a leveling off would occur. The rodents would develop either hostile or antisocial behaviors. The population would trail off to extinction. According to Calhoun, the death phase consisted of 2 stages. The first death, characterized by the loss of purpose in life beyond mere existence, including the loss of desire to mate, raise young, or establish a role within society, and second death, marked by the literal end of life and the extinction of Universe 25. They ended the experiment, but with their findings they predicted that these pathological changes would have eventually led to the death of the colonies. At their conclusion, he would take the 4 healthiest males and females and allow them to breed, but their behavior had been inexorably altered so that none of their infants survived. Though wildly controversial when first published, Calhoun's theory has raised concern over the years that the social breakdown of Universe 25 could ultimately serve as a metaphor for the trajectory of the human race. To help society find ways to avoid falling into the behavioral sink, he spent part of his later career exploring different forms of human advancement. Calhoun believed the design of cities was partially responsible for the ways in which inhabitants interacted with each other. Putting more focus on city planning can help avoid the behavioral sink. He also formed an academic team called the Space Cadets, whose purpose was to promote the idea of humans setting up colonies on other planets. More than 6 decades have passed since Calhoun conducted his Universe 25 experiment. Nonetheless, questions linger regarding the observations he drew from the utopia collapse. Ultimately, we can be heartened by the fact that humans are not mice. We have science, technology and medicine to heal ourselves and explore new environments and possibilities.